Okay, so today we're diving into some pretty unsettling stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at Donald Trump's history of using the legal system to basically go after anyone he sees as an opponent.
Hmm.
And he's made it pretty clear that if he gets back in the White House, he plans to ramp that up. We're talking about journalists, political rivals, anyone who crosses him. And this isn't just about politics, this is about power
Hmm.
and how it gets used. If you find this as disturbing as we do, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We break down complex topics like this all the time.
What's particularly concerning is that this pattern seems to be coming into even sharper focus as Trump prepares for a potential return to the White House.
Yeah, you might be thinking, well, didn't he already do this kind of thing?
Hmm.
And yeah, you'd be right.
But the intensity and the scope of his legal actions and threats seem to be escalating.
It's like he's saying, disagree with me, and I'll make your life a legal nightmare. And it's not just talk. We've got actual examples of this, like the lawsuit against the Des Moines Register and Ann Seltzer, the pollster. Trump didn't like a poll they published, so he sued them. And get this, he used consumer protection law.
It is a rather unusual application of consumer protection
This
laws.
is not how you usually go after a newspaper, right?
Not typical.
And remember that quote of his, I have to do it. We have to straighten out the press. That's chilling stuff, folks. If you're finding this deep dive as eye-opening as we are, make sure you share it with your friends and family. Let's get this conversation going because an informed public is a powerful public.
Uh,
And the Des Moines case isn't an isolated incident. This is part of a much bigger pattern of using the legal system to target critics.
Mm.
I mean, we're talking novel legal arguments targeting specific jurisdictions and even going after individuals rather than just big media organizations. What's the strategy here?
It seems to be about creating a chilling effect. If you know that criticizing a powerful figure could land you in a costly and time-consuming legal battle, you might think twice before speaking out.
So it's not just about winning the lawsuit. It's about making people afraid to even try. And it's not just lawsuits either. We've got to talk about Kash Patel, Trump's pick to lead the FBI. This guy has openly said he wants to investigate people who helped Joe Biden rig the election. Now, those claims have been debunked, but the fact that he's even saying this is a huge red flag, wouldn't you say?
It certainly raises concerns about how investigations might be carried out under his leadership.
Concerns is putting it mildly. This is about potentially using the power of the FBI to target political opponents based on completely unfounded accusations. And if you think this doesn't affect you, think again. What happens when the government can target anyone who disagrees with them? Share this deep dive, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. This conversation is just getting started, and we need your voice to be a part of it.
It's a tactic we've seen before, and it goes beyond just investigations. Look at what happened with Liz Cheney.
Oh, yeah, the congresswoman who stood up to Trump during the January 6th hearings.
Exactly. She was targeted by a congressional report accusing her of misconduct. They even suggested criminal charges, all while she was investigating Trump.
Talk about a double standard. It's almost like they were trying to distract from the investigation into Trump by going after her. It's wild. If you think so too, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel for more deep dives on these important topics.
It certainly highlights the lengths to which some are willing to go to silence their opponents.
And this whole idea of fairness that Trump keeps talking about, it seems like he only considers something fair if it's completely in his favor, right?
His definition of fairness does seem to align with a lack of criticism.
Right. Any reporting that questions his narrative is instantly labeled fake news or witch hunt. It's a dangerous game to play, especially when you're the one holding all the cards.
It does raise concerns about how criticism will be handled if he returns to office.
Concerns.
Yeah.
I'd say it's downright terrifying. This is about controlling the narrative, folks. And if we let that happen, what happens to our ability to hold those in power accountable? It's a slippery slope, and we need to be talking about it. Let's keep this conversation going in the comments below. What do you think about Trump's version of fairness? Remember that libel case against Timothy O'Brien?
The one where Trump sued him for accurately reporting on his financial dealings.
That's the one. Trump lost the case, but afterwards he admitted he did it to make O'Brien's life miserable. He was even happy about it. It's just mind-blowing to me that he would admit that.
It does demonstrate a pattern of using legal action as a form of retaliation rather than a pursuit of justice.
Exactly. It's not about justice, it's about revenge. And that should scare the living daylights out of anyone who believes in a fair and impartial legal system. And look, I'm not saying Trump is the only person who's ever done this. But when it's a president of the United States wielding the power of the government to target his critics, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
If you're still with us on this deep dive, you're the kind of person who values truth and transparency. Hit that subscribe button and become part of this community. Now, some people might say, hey, Trump's just a tough guy fighting back against a biased system. But where's the line? If we let this kind of behavior slide, what kind of message are we sending?
It does raise important questions about the precedent being set.
You're telling me. If it's okay for the president to use the legal system like this, what's to stop anyone in power from doing the same? It's a terrifying thought. And honestly, it keeps me up at night.
It underscores the importance of vigilance and a commitment to democratic principles.
Couldn't agree more. We can't afford to be complacent, folks. This is about the future of our country, and we all have a role to play. Share this episode with your friends and family. Let's get more people talking about this.
All right, so let's bring this home. Why does any of this matter to you, our listener? Why should you care about Trump's legal tactics and his talk about retribution?
Because it really strikes at the heart of what makes a democracy function. A free press, open debate, the ability to criticize those in power without fear of reprisal. These are the cornerstones of a healthy society.
Exactly. If those things are eroded, we all lose. Think about it. What happens if journalists are afraid to report on controversial topics because they're worried about getting sued? What happens if people are afraid to express their political views because they might end up in the crosshairs of the government? That's not the kind of country I want to live in. And I bet it's not the kind of country you want to live in either.
It raises fundamental questions about freedom of speech and the rule of law. Right. And it's not just about Trump. It's about setting a precedent. If we let one president get away with this kind of behavior, what's to stop future presidents from doing the same? Or even worse, it's a slippery slope. And we need to draw a line in the sand. This is a call to action, folks. Hit that subscribe button, share this video, and let's get this conversation going. We can't be silent about this.
It highlights the importance of civic engagement and holding our leaders accountable.
Absolutely. We need to be informed, we need to speak out, and we need to demand better from our elected officials. Now, I know some folks might be tuning in and thinking, this is all just politics as usual. It's always been a dirty game. But I disagree. This feels different. This feels like a direct attack on the foundations of our democracy. And if we don't take it seriously, we're going to regret it.
It underscores the fragility of democratic norms and the need to safeguard them.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We've talked about Trump's history of legal threats, his focus on retribution, his narrow definition of fairness, his potential use of the FBI for political ends. But here's the question that really haunts me. What does it say about us as a society if we allow this to become the new normal? If we just shrug our shoulders and say, that's just how things are now, then we're complicit in the erosion of our own freedoms.
It is a question worth pondering.
It's a question that should keep us all up at night. So what can we do? We can stay informed. We can support organizations that are fighting to protect our rights. We can vote for leaders who uphold democratic values, and we can make our voices heard loud and clear. That's why we do this show, to get you thinking, get you talking, and get you engaged. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, keep this conversation going. The future of our democracy might depend on it.